Welcome to The Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time.
This week on The Kindness Project, we talk about musicals, the Royals, and the story of Charlie Binbags.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Kindness Project. I'm joined today and every time we record a podcast by Charlotte, a girl I love so much. I'd send a fully armed battalion to remind her of my love.
Can't believe we've got this.
Have you done a Hamilton one?
He could build you palaces out of paragraphs, only on financial advice.
I think you may have scuppered one of my future introductions, Charlotte, because I think we saw a Hamilton recently, didn't we? Hamilton the musical, and I think we're still a bit obsessed by Hamilton. So I think Hamilton the musical is genuinely the best musical I've ever seen. How about you?
Yeah.
You haven't seen that many musicals, have you?
Musicals, but I listen to a lot of musical soundtracks, so like Heathers. Really good.
From the 80s, yeah?
Not the movie, the musical.
Have they made Teen Wolf the musical yet or not?
I wish.
You wish?
Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde.
I've heard the whole soundtrack.
I
don't like the movie.
I think they should make A-Team the musical, because that's or Fraggle Rock the musical. Do you remember a few years ago they made Avenue Q with all the sort of Muppets and stuff like that? So what would be a show from your generation growing up that you'd make into a musical? This isn't the question of the podcast, by the way, listeners. We've got something really good for that coming up.
I think if they had I don't know. You.
So I'd pick A-Team the musical, Thundercats the musical, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe the musical, The Krypton Factor the musical, Grandad the musical, and I'd make all the Carry On films musicals as well.
See,
How about Life of Brian? You know what they did do, weirdly.
is The Life of Brian not a musical?
Well,
There's only one song in it.
Genuinely, the second best musical I've ever seen, apart from Hamilton, is a show called Spamalot. And that's a musical version of Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
I love that movie. It's so funny. Just like, what is the call of the southern birds? Like, east or west?
I don't know. And then obviously the bit with the Black Knight is awesome. Tis merely a scratch. Your arms off. But your arms off. Hopefully, listeners, we've got a few Monty Python fans in the audience. Otherwise, that will mean absolutely nothing to nobody.
I make Monty Python references sometimes at school. People give me sideways looks, and I'm kind of thinking, not even one person. That's all it would have taken.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, the thing is, as we've talked about in previous podcasts, you've got a gang called Baggy Trousers. You like Monty Python. You should have been born in the 70s or the 80s, Charlotte. You're a girl out of her generation. And maybe we'll use that for a future question of the podcast. If you could choose to be... I mean, I remember like when
I would still choose people.
I mean, we had a chat in a previous podcast about Chris Budd's hippie shirt, because he thinks he should... He should. So, Chris, we still haven't had your hippie shirt sent through the post yet. Send it through whenever you want. Even tweet a picture. We're quite happy with Chris tweeting a picture, aren't we?
We will. If you send it, we'll tweet the picture.
And if you don't, we will send a fully armed battalion to remind you owe us a shirt. Right. So, can you let everybody know how people can get in touch?
Okay. So, the Twitter. Hola Kindness, HOLA Kindness.
Yep.
And then you want to do your Twitter handle?
Yep, my Twitter handle is @Chris, CHRIS, D for Delta, A for Alpha, E for Echo, M for Mother, S for Sugar.
Do you do it phonetically? I don't. I just go Charlotte J. Dames, CHARLOTTE, J. Dames, DAEMS.
Oh, awesome. And we have got an email address as well, haven't we?
Ooh, yes. Hola Kindness, so HOLA. Yeah, that's right. At The Kindness Project.
No, that's completely wrong. We've been doing this now for 12 weeks. So the email address is hola, HOLA, at The Kindness Project.
What did I say the
.co.uk. You went holokindness, which is the Twitter handle. We'll get it right one day, Charlotte, don't worry. Now, one of the things we always do at the start of the show is we have a question of the podcast. And so far, we've talked about gangs, we've talked about biscuits, we've talked about songs, we've talked about eggs, we've talked about movies, we've talked about countries, we've talked about loads of different stuff.
We have one philosophical question that neither of us can answer.
But we had some good responses on that one, so it was really good. But, question of the podcast for week 13
I do not know what this is actually.
is, who's your favourite member of the royal family? Inspired by the fact that my introduction come from Hamilton, and it's King...
One of the King Georges.
Yeah, so my favourite member of the royal family is a bloke called Prince Alan. No, I just made that up. It's actually Harry. I like Harry.
I like the Queen herself.
You like the Queen? What do you like about the Queen?
I think she's got a nice hairstyle.
I like the Queen. I like her haircut. What is it about the Queen's hairstyle you like?
It looks appeasing on her face.
What? I've never looked at the Queen and gone, hello, I like your hairstyle, I like your haircut, mate. What? She's got a perm. I mean, literally, I know you like the 80s, Charlotte, but come on.
It suits her.
Yeah, so I like Harry because he's just like a ginger rogue, isn't he? He's just like, I'm going to marry who I want, and I'm going to like sort of be a bit cheeky. And genuinely, and this is a serious reason why I like Prince Harry, him and William has done loads and loads of work to highlight the importance of mental illness. So actually, not only is he a cheeky monkey in a good way, he also does loads of work highlighting things that would be easier to ignore. So I like it when people go, you know what, I'm not going to ignore that particular issue. I'm going to raise it so we can have a open and honest conversation back. I don't think people talk about mental illness enough, do they?
Because they're figureheads in sort of our society.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be frank, I'm not a big royalist. I'm not a fan of the rules. I've never been a fan of the rules at all. But since the modern rules have started talking about issues like that, I quite like them. So let's go back to the Queen and her haircut. If you could, I've got a question for you. If you could replace the Queen's hairstyle with any other hairstyle, what would it be?
Oh, let me think about the Queen's face structure.
I think she'd suit a Mohican, to be honest. I think she's got a perm. I reckon she should have an afro. What do you reckon? Afro Queen.
She's got a perm and an afro at the moment, kind of smushed together.
The Queen's got a smushed up afro. Is that what you're saying? I think she should go full on skinhead and just see how she gets on. Anyway. Official question of the podcast is, who's your favourite member of the royal family? Unofficial question of the podcast is, what haircut would you give the Queen if you could? Would it be skinhead, Mohican? This is a Twitter poll waiting to happen, Charlotte. Skinhead, Mohican, or an afro smushed with a what?
With a perm.
An afro smushed with a perm. We look forward to you. So, now we've done the nonsensically waffly bit, should we get on with the show?
Yep.
So, listeners, it's that time again on the podcast. We are ready for... Are you ready, Charlotte, for the jingle? Oh, the cough! The cough!
Kindness news.
And you're taking over the kindness news section of the podcast, aren't you?
Yeah.
So can you share with us your kindness news story of the week?
Okay, so there was a woman.
A woman?
There was a woman named Katie, and this is a really short one, but I thought, you know what? It's something I actually wanted to talk about. And she went around and sneakily put chocolate hearts on random desks in her office.
Love it.
So when she was at work, she went around, put chocolate hearts on the desks of the other workers, and I thought, you know what? That's actually quite a nice thing to do.
You know what I like about that? It's simple, right?
Yes.
And I think some of the simplest acts of kindness are the best, because, you know, a lot of the times kindness, people assume that kindness needs to be really elaborate, but actually it doesn't, does it? It can be just like tiny little things you can do to help other people. So, but as that was a short one, where did that happen, that one?
I do not know.
Okay. Well researched, well done.
But she put it under the hashtag RAK Week, so Random Acts of Kindness Week.
Yeah.
So she did it for the Random Acts of Kindness Week.
Awesome.
She posted it on February the 10th, 2014.
And it was Valentine's related as well, right? Because it was a nice one. But as that was a short one, can I have an extra one?
Okay, so this one is titled The Chance to Talk Again.
Okay.
Daniel Black was paralysed after breaking his neck in a cycling accident in 2009. Determined to walk again, the 26-year-old set about raising the money needed for an operation that would get him back on his feet. But after reading the story of 6-year-old cerebral palsy sufferer...
cerebral palsy.
Yeah. I can't pronounce it. Bracken Vaughan, who also needed pioneering surgery to help him walk again, Daniel gave him every penny of the $22,000 he had collected. Bracken flew out to the United States for his operation in October 2013. Daniel, who was given a Daily Mirror Pride of Britain award for his huge generosity, said, "For me, things are not getting better soon. I wanted to help someone whose life could get better."
That is incredible. What do you think of that story?
It's good.
Yeah.
Like, really kind, like...
but also sacrificing your own, like, you're making your life a little bit better for somebody else, because longer term... It was better for him to have the cash. I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? That sort of, but I suppose when we do perform acts of kindness, we do sacrifice something. I mean, in that respect, that was a massive sacrifice. But when we're kind, we either sacrifice money or time or resources or labour or anything. But I actually think what you get in terms of doing that awesome thing back in positive energy and feeling better about yourself. And I know that we've spoken about David Hamilton's 5 side effects of kindness before, and what you get back. But something that big, people have raised money for you to get to make your life better, and for you to turn around and go, look, you're better off to have the money, when nobody would have blamed him for turning around and going, actually, I'm going to use it for my medical challenges.
I think he thought, well, this boy still has lots to live for.
Yeah.
And it's probably grown accustomed to not having the ability to walk, but the boy, it would affect his life and affect
make more of a difference. But an awesome sacrifice all the same, yeah? So that's really good. Thank you for those 2 pieces of kindness news this week. So for this week's story of kindness, I want to talk to you about a man called Charlie. Yep. Now, Charlie is homeless, and recently he joined Twitter.
Yep.
And the reason he joined Twitter is because somebody gave him a mobile phone. A really old one, no SIM card, but just a mobile phone that he could use, free Costa Wi-Fi. He's obviously got a charger for it. And on March the 7th, 2018, he wrote this tweet: "I'm homeless, not evil. I'm not stupid or on drugs or violent or dishonest or crazy or greedy or diseased or drunk or likely to kill you.
Yep.
If you'd met me in better circumstances, you'd like me. I'm a nice guy. I just don't currently have a home." And that is it. Now, he put this tweet out, and he just every now and again, he just tweets what it's like to be homeless. So recently he's commented on how cold it is. But really interestingly, all the messages that he shares are positive.
Yeah.
He tweets about homelessness. He tweets about in support of homeless shelters. It just tiny little thing. On March the 8th, he just put, "Phone is about to die, like run out of battery, love to all." And he just supports and shares. On March the 8th, he also put, "Can't wait for spring to arrive. It's flipping freezing," which on March the 8th, it flipping was. So, but yeah, just really, really good stuff. So March the 8th was early March was when he started tweeting. But guess what?
What?
People really responded to Charlie's messages. And on on March the 8th, he said, "Never had so many messages. I'm just one of thousands of rough sleepers. If you feel for me, feel for them. Every life you touch will pay you back eventually. Be kind. Night." And he got loads of direct messages. In the end, he set up a PayPal account so somebody could support him. And genuinely, like, sort of the support that he got just through Twitter was incredible. Offers of jobs, offers of homes, offers of money, offers of shelter, offers of food. And today, we're recording this on March the 17th, 2018. We record these in advance. So today he had a tweet. On March the 7th, 2018, I was homeless. I was given a mobile and joined Twitter. 10 days later, I've nearly 20,000 followers, hundreds of offers of support, donations, job offers, and a whole lot of kindness and love. I've been extremely lucky. Many aren't. Reach out. Be kind. It saved my life. Now, I read that this morning, and I don't mind saying that I cried.
It always does.
I you know what? It's weird. As I get older, I am more of a these things emotionally impact me. But genuinely, that guy from his accounts, from his Twitter account, you can tell he's been through some tough and challenging stuff, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't make him a bad bloke. That doesn't make him violent or evil. That makes him somebody who's just homeless. But the reality of it is, we've all got to remember that we're not that many steps away from being in that position.
Yeah.
And even though we should work hard to try and maintain good mental health and work hard to make sure that mentally we're never in that position and we make decisions that are good, should never forget that it's actually easier than you think to be in that sort of position. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. Like one slip up or one tiny mistake and we could end up with absolutely nothing. And this man, he was given one tiny thing and he managed to use it. And even though he didn't plan on it, he used it to his own advantage. And he now has maybe more than he had before. Probably not. But
well, he's making progress, right? Yeah. He's making progress, which is important. The weird thing is that reading Charlie's tweets, there were also people who were quite negative about what he was doing, purely and simply because they said, why is a homeless man on Twitter and got a mobile phone? Like, he's got no entitlement to. But what Charlie did was the right thing. He chose to focus on what people were doing positively to help him change his life. Yeah. And I think that's great. And I've tweeted Charlie. I'm going to send Charlie a direct message to see what we can do to help. I'm sure that he's got, I mean, by the looks of his tweets, he's got hundreds of people wanting to help him. And good luck, Charlie. You're an inspiration, mate. If you make people think about the next time they walk past somebody homeless, just doing something a bit cool, you've made the world a far better place. So fantastic work, well done.
That's the end.
Is it?
Yeah.
Before we started to record the end of this particular podcast, you mentioned something, didn't you? Because you didn't realise that this podcast goes out every Thursday, because our producer Russell does all the jiggery pokery and stuff like that. And what did you say about our Thursday release day?
Thursday seems like a bit of a weird time to release a podcast.
Why?
I don't know, it just seems like a weird
Ready for the weekend.
I mean,
it goes out.
You could release it on Wednesday and then you've still got like a couple of days left to listen to it.
You can listen to it anytime you want. It's on the internet forever now.
Daunting.
It is a bit daunting, but I think Thursdays are a good day to release a podcast. You think, what would be a better time to release a podcast, do you reckon?
I don't know, I just think Monday.
Monday? Any particular time? 2:42.
6 in the afternoon.
After everybody's come back from work,
exactly.
You mean? Well, people listen to it on the way to work. Or when it comes to...
So Sunday.
Sunday. Maybe Sunday night is a better time. People listen to it on the way to work and on the way home. And in the case of our podcast, in the mental asylums up and down the land. Because it's that sort of podcast. But... it is the end of the show.
Just trying to convince all the prisoners to be more kind.
And the prisons. But it is the end of the show again. And that means one thing, doesn't it?
Last week's question of the week, this week, last week.
The coffee's back, listeners. We're liking the cough. So, the question of the podcast was a simple one, but actually...
Wait, no. But before he says anything, this question really takes the biscuit.
Oh, God! The question is, what's your favourite biscuit? And we, apparently, somebody sent in a news article this week about the fact that Richard Osman from Pointless on Twitter actually did a World Cup of biscuits. He does this thing on Twitter where he'll go World Cup of crisps or World Cup of chocolate bars, and he did the World Cup of biscuits. What do you reckon came out as the winner? Custard creams. I think custard creams did well. I think it was the chocolate digestive that won. So that's not that is a good biscuit. So Richard, if you are listening, and I'm gonna tweet you a link to this particular podcast episode, share with us your thoughts on.
Also, if you like this episode, just listen to the rest as well, please. We'd love to have you listen to our podcast.
I'm not overly bothered, to be honest, but if people want to listen and they're enjoying it, I'm cool with that. All right, no, that's a lie. I'd love you to listen to the podcast, but here are the listeners' tweets about what their favourite biscuit is. So Susan Pringle said...
A shortbread finger.
Irresistible. Mark Smith?
Milk chocolate hobnobs.
See, it's gone for milk chocolate, not regular chocolate. What do you think of that?
See, milk chocolate is nice. I'm not a big fan of dark chocolate.
Okay, fair enough. Matthew Warren, ginger nuts. What's the link between biscuits and kindness? And I had to go back and go, there's no particular link.
They give you a sweet feeling in your belly.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Sammy Wybrow said custard creams.
I agree.
Would you?
I don't know.
Well, what would you put on the rank of biscuits?
Like, so custard creams are good, but...
better than a digestive?
No.
Better than a shortbread?
No, because like there was this shop around the corner, and they do really cheap shortbread that I just like to go and buy sometimes and just like share them out and just fun.
So Matthew Sibley said, my wife and I are in agreement. That's good to know. For once. Toffee pops. And I've never heard of a toffee pop. So I tweeted him back and went, I don't even know what a toffee pop is. And he went, hey up, must be a northern thing. Now I don't know whether he's got that accent. I've never actually spoken to Matthew. But he reckons they might be a northern thing. But he has promised to post me some down. So when they do come, we might have a live toffee pop tasting session on the Kindness Project. Would you reckon?
That'd be so weird, but yeah, let's do it. That's kind of what the Kindness Project is about, if you haven't picked that up by now.
But I thought it was about kindness. Oh, okay. But a live chocolate tasting session might be a good way to end the podcast in a future week. Phil Billingham went easy. Shortbread, Romany creams, next question. And literally I sent him 3 future podcast questions and he came back immediately with answers. Cassie got involved. My wife and your mum got involved. Yep. Said my mum's got a shortbread. And then Robbie, who's my mother-in-law, said, I had all the ingredients and meant to make you some when you're up. Well, you didn't, Robbie. What's going on? Can you please post some down? We're getting some toffee pops from the north. We want some... Please, we'd really appreciate it. We'd like some... And if anybody else would like to send in chocolates, biscuits, sweets, crisps, pizzas, Coke...
don't send Coke.
Not cash. We don't want cash. Anything...
I want cash.
I don't want your cash. Charlotte will happily take your cash, apparently. I want cash. We will not be bought on this podcast, apart from Charlotte, who's quite happily to be bought. I want cash. She was cash. Charlotte. Then there was a bit of controversy because Scott Goswell jumped on and went Jaffa cakes, and then Mum got on her high horse and went, sorry, Jaffa cakes are technically not a biscuit. They're a cake.
But they're in the biscuit aisle. They're always in the biscuit aisle.
Well, that's what Scott said. Scott said if they're in the biscuit aisle, then they're obviously a biscuit. And it went back and forth for a little while about biscuits and cakes. And yeah, so unofficial podcast conversation. Are Jaffa cakes a cake or a biscuit? We'd like to get to the bottom of that.
They're both.
They're not both. And is it wrong? The other unofficial podcast question of the week, is it wrong that Charlotte's using the platform of the podcast just for ask for a bit of cash?
I did not ask for a bit of cash. You said we don't want your cash, and I was like, I want your cash.
We don't want your cash. I want your cash. That's the controversy of Biscuit Gate and Cash Gate and Jaffa Cake Gate. But we have had some really nice stories of kindness come up this week, because this week the weather's not been that great. So, listeners, we record this a few weeks in advance, and this week we've had the beast from the east hit us, which was
Storm Emma.
Storm Emma. I mean, the beast from the east and Storm Emma hit us consecutively midweek, didn't it? And it was it created we had some sort of tough weather conditions, is probably the best way to say it.
We had some snow days off school as well.
You had some days off school, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, because people would just, you're on a podcast, people would just send you money. Who needs school? I want money.
No, I'm happy to work for me money.
Good.
I think I'm doing this product. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. So what I want to do is talk a little bit about some of the acts of kindness that occur when the weather's not that great. So we've got a guy who works for us in my business, Savello, called TJ, and he did a really good job, because whilst snow days were on, he helped one of his really good friends out with look after her brother while her dad was in hospital. So well done, TJ, and Trish, because Trish got involved as well. That is an awesome piece of work. In addition to that, we had a few messages about medical staff, NHS workers getting through the snow, but also people shouting out and going, look, any medical staff who need to get into hospital, I've got a car, I've got a 4x4. If you're struggling to get in because you can't get the bus, train or whatever, we will actually drive you into work. So how awesome's that, Charlotte?
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And then our friend of the show and friend of ours, John Cook, said he's got a guide dog, and apparently Sparky, who's his guide dog, did an awesome job guiding him through the snow. Now, that is actually his job. He is a guide dog. He does. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't get paid to do it, but he gets looked after quite well for doing it.
Yeah, I mean, he could have been like our dog, who went and face planted the snow every time he saw it, and came back with a white mustache like he had when he was younger.
Our dog's not a working dog. He's a pet, and I think our dog, if he was a working dog, would take the Charlotte Dames route to capitalism and just shout out, give me some cash, give me some cash.
Bark in your face and go,
give me some cash, give me some cash. Right, so on the note that there's been loads of signs of kindness when the weather's been rubbish, loads of controversy about biscuits, and loads of controversy about Charlotte using this podcast as a forum to ask people to send in money, I think we'll end it there. See you next time.
Okay, bye.